This press conference was incredible. I think it's safe to say out of Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, I think Sony won this year's E3. There was just so many positives to this. But let's first start with the first one. By the looks of things, it seems like Sony is going to continue supporting the PlayStation 3, which is great because I don't think I'm ready to get a PS4 yet, and I already have a PS3, so at least I have something to look forward to. First of all, they're going to be releasing Grand Theft Auto 5, which obviously it's a multi-platform game, so besides PS3, it's also coming up for Xbox 360 and PC. They also announced Last of Us and Gran Turismo 6, which those games I'm not too excited about, but they look alright. Some games that really got me interested: Batman: Arkham Origins, Puppeteer, and Beyond Two Souls. Those games look really cool. But now let's talk about PS4 games, and they showed quite a lot of games. Games that I'm interested in are games like Knack, The Order 1886. By the way, that game looks really awesome. I like the idea where it's late 1800s, you're in London, it's dark outside, there's fog everywhere, and you're fighting off these hordes of like these mutated creatures and stuff like that. In a way, it reminds me of Nightmare Creatures on the Nintendo 64. Other games that I'm interested in: Watch Dogs. That game looks cool. It's like Grand Theft Auto, except you have the ability to hack technology. Watch Dogs is going to be coming out for the Wii U, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, which why the hell would you care about the Xbox One, and also the PC. So that's kind of cool. Now, other games that I'm not really too keen on, but kind of cool anyway: Assassin's Creed 4, Drive Club, Infamous Second Son, Final Fantasy 15. Sorry to say this, guys, but ever since Final Fantasy left the Super Nintendo, the series has kind of gone downhill. Don't really care. Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, so, Destiny. Now, I'm not too keen on Destiny because really, Destiny looks way too similar to Halo, and Halo just doesn't interest me, so... but they also showed off a lot of indie games, and a lot of these indie games actually looked really good. There was one game called Outlast. Now, this game looks really awesome. It's a survival horror game, and, you know, and we need more survival horror. Like, the survival horror genre is pretty much dying. Another indie game that they showed was kind of like Contra. I don't remember the name of it, but I do remember the gameplay was very similar to Contra, and Contra is like one of my favorite games on the NES, so that's cool. But now let's talk about the most badass part of the whole press conference, when Sony stepped on stage and pretty much just kicked Microsoft in the balls by saying that the console will support used games. You can trade in games, you can rent games, you can buy used games, you can borrow games from friends, you can take games to friends' house, you don't have to connect to the internet every 24 hours. There's no online DRM bullshit, any of that. Your system will continue. You can still access your games even without internet. That was awesome. And when that happened, the audience just went freaking nuts, man. Like, people were cheering. Hell, there were people that were chanting, "Sony, Sony, Sony." So that was really awesome, though. Now, while this is all cool and all, there is one kicker to all this, but I'll get into that in just a minute. Sony also showed off the design of the PS4 console. Now, for me, the PlayStation 4 doesn't really have the best console design. Like, honestly, in my personal opinion, I believe the Atari 2600 and the Sega Genesis have the best console-looking designs. But as for this generation, it's probably the most attractive looking console on the market. The Wii U is just too bland looking, and the Xbox One is just too bulky and huge, and it looks like a Philips CDI, which is funny because the Philips CDI is actually a better console than the Xbox One, because it has no restrictions, no ridiculous requirements, and it has Hotel Mario, Seventh Guest, Tetris, Mad Dog McCree, and Dragon's Lair on it. But anyway, the thing about the PS4 is it's not just a box, but it's got like this black, glossy-like look to it, and it's kind of slanted, and it's really thin looking, so it looks new and interesting. But last but not least, Sony showed off the price of the PS4. The system will be retailing at $400. Now, at this kind of price, is that really the kind of price that makes me want to go out and buy the system and feel comfortable with it? No, personally, I'd rather just wait for a price drop because I'm not willing to spend $400 on a video game console, but that's just me. The only problem I had with this press conference, and this is a big problem, Sony announced that they will be charging people monthly fees for online multiplayer, which is pretty much $5 a month. Sony, why are you doing this? You do realize that one of the main reasons why a lot of people switched over to PlayStation Network is because people wanted to get away from Xbox Live. I mean, hell, that's one of the main reasons why I bought the PS3. I wanted to get away from this Xbox Live bullshit, and I wanted to have free online multiplayer. If you're charging us fees to access online multiplayer, you're essentially taking away about half or something like that, half of the game away from us. And really, if you want to have free online multiplayer, the only options you have are a Nintendo console or the PC. So now we're a bit more limited. But overall, aside from that one negative aspect, I thought this was a really good press conference. They showed off a lot of games, and some of those games actually got me really excited and got me, looking forward to seeing what would come up. And they did a lot of things that made me really happy, such as continuing to support the PS3 and slapping Microsoft in the face with all those comments about, just doing the opposite of what Xbox One is doing. So I have to give props to Sony for that. I've gained so much respect for Sony for that. And because of that press conference, I'm starting to have a little bit of difficulty deciding whether I should get a Wii U or if I should get a PS4. But as a whole, as of this year, between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, I think Sony put on the best press conference. And yes, I did watch Nintendo's presentation, and I will do a video about it tomorrow. So stay tuned and see you later.